Broadcasting across the country and around the world, from Sin City in Las Vegas, Nevada, join Moose and PowerSerg as we prove that age is truly just a number and the best life is yet to come. Grab a seat, pour yourself a drink, and dare to live on 50 Shades of Great. Welcome back to another episode, 50 Shades of Great, Daring to Live. I am the Real Radio Moose with my co-host and executive producer, PowerSerg, both on the road this week. As you can see, I got the Rocky Mountains here in the background. I'm in beautiful Denver. A little colder than I wanted it to be, but nonetheless, a beautiful bankscape. And where exactly are you, Serge?
I'm in Denver.
You're in Denver. Oh, last week, Dr. Pink.
Yes, this actually, believe it or not, is Dr. Pink's home studio, we'll call it.
Serge did a sleepover. Serge did a sleepover.
Slowing down the relationship. Well,
Mr. Single Forever. But well, I hope that goes. Hope that goes well for you. Hope that goes well for you. And
I appreciate it.
I don't take any shots at me on the relationship side of things. In fact, what we're going to be talking about on the show today, I did one thing in my life that was really, well, I've done a lot of things that are really stupid, but I did one thing that was really stupid, and I got a wedding band tattooed on my hand, and the tattoo was easy.
It's gone now, right?
Yeah, no, it's gone. 8 sessions of laser remover, whatever you call it. It's painful. It hurts. It looks like shit.
Let me
see. You can still tell that there was a ring there.
Let me see. Wow, you can't hardly see her.
You know what? In person though, it's very clear.
I
look like the guy. You know the guy at the bar that just takes the ring off when the lady.
Oh my God! It looks like you have a tan line.
Yeah, absolutely. So talking about 50 Shades of Grey, Daring to Live. You know, there's something that we haven't even discussed, and I think it's such a big issue. We're seeing a big change in the social acceptance. We're seeing people wanting to express themselves. You know, it's more able to express ourselves here in 2024. And so we're looking at tattoos, and tattoos have continued to grow. When I got my first tattoo, it was taboo. I was like a bad guy. When I was a cop, I had to cover them up. Now you're seeing these cops with like neck tattoos and like facial tattoos and stuff like that. But I wanted to talk about tattoos today. I'm seeing them get on a lot of 50-year-old men out there. So I brought on a close to 50-year-old man who actually applies those to our skin. I want to welcome Hondre Moreno to the show.
Hey, good morning, guys.
Hey, Andre.
How's it going?
Good to see you.
How you guys doing? You too.
Great.
Hanging in there, man.
You're a full-time tattoo artist?
Yes. For the last, I think going on 19 years or something like that now.
That's awesome. And then, so really the goal, so the focus of the show is 50-year-old guys living their best life, right? And so I think that overall for me, like I actually got my tattoos when I got married the first time, right? And before that, I was with the government. I did some undercover work, and so I thought that tattoos wouldn't be good for that because they would identify you, right? And then when I left the government, I'm like, I want to get a tattoo, and for me, it was a struggle of what am I passionate about, right? Because there's nothing quite like a statement that you make when this is going to be on my body forever. Right. And so I think for expression, the permission for you to do what you want with your body is, and not so worrying about what other people think or what other people will think of you. I think that's a huge thing. And are you seeing an older demographic? What's like the average age of the people that you're tattooing? Are you seeing more younger people? Are you seeing more older people?
I get a wide array of people. I get people anywhere from the age of 18, right when you're able to finally get tattooed, all the way up until their 60s and 70s. I've had some 80-year-olds.
Let's first talk about. Let's first talk about. How old are you?
48. I just had to ask my fiance the other day because I forgot.
Yeah, it's harder to remember as we're moving on, but
as we get older.
But so Serge is talking about that, and I think there's 3 different types of typical tattoo customers. The one is just it's kind of convenient, kind of cool. I just want to do it. Open up the book, the one that you guys as artists hate to see walk in the shop because it's kind of a waste of your time. But then you get the one that comes in and wants to do the badass thing, right? And then I think the third one is something memorable has happened in my life, and I want to remember this forever. We're seeing a lot of portraits going on people now. We're seeing a lot of, names and dates and stuff like that. I will go back to my first tattoo, which first of all, every tattoo on my body, I'm pretty heavily tattooed. In fact, you've done a few of my tattoos. But every tattoo on my body has very personal meaning to me that I want on there for the rest of my life, except the biggest one on my leg that I got done the first time. And literally, I went into this tattoo shop and the guy looks at my big white boy calf and he's just like, dude, I want to do a piece for Tattoo Magazine. It's a tribal piece and I want to enter it because your skin is going to have the perfect, make this pop. So I let this guy do this big tribal piece on my leg. Now, the funny thing is when I joined the police department, the first thing one of my sergeants said, he's like, hey, man, Africa, Guam, Samoa. And I go, what the hell are you talking about? He goes, what tribe are you from? And I'm like, what do you mean, what tribe am I from? Why you got big ass, stupid tribal thing on your leg?
The most is a white boy with a tribal tattoo. I have nothing. I don't say nothing. Well,
it's a good thing that my daughter has some Cherokee in her lineage because I can just blame it on that now, right?
You're doing to support your daughter. But here's a good question. Do most of your customers, when they come in, do they say, hey, this is what I want? Or do you have a lot of customers that come in and go, hey, show me your book. I want to put something on my body that's in your book.
Well, for me personally, I don't have a book that I set out I do mainly custom work. So if somebody's coming to me, they usually have a general idea. We'll sit down and have a consultation. We'll go over all their ideas with them. And then I basically let them know what I could do for them and how I could lay it out for them. And we either go back and forth with that, or sometimes right off the bat, they love the idea and they're all ready for it.
Hey, Hondre, so you're dealing with more of your clientele is more of not the spontaneous, not the, I want to be a badass. Yours is more of the something important's happened in my life and I want to memorialize this.
I do get a lot of those. I do get some people who randomly just want to get tattooed as well. I get it all. You know what I mean? It just, yeah, you get everything.
Yeah, I mean, for me, when I got elected to, I'm trying to think of what, I really wanted something cool that spoke of who I am. Oh yeah, I'll start doing it. And so for me, I thought about what am I passionate about, right? And I've always been a geek, but I've always been kind of a little bit on the tougher end of the geek spectrum. And I took pride in that, right? This is before, society has changed and culture changed, where right now the geeks have taken over, right? The geeks make the most money. The movies that make the most money are all superhero movies and fantasy movies, the top shows.
Hey, let me give them a clue. So 2 little people and a crackhead throw a ring in a volcano.
So my first tattoo and this, so the meaning of this, right? So this is the ring for Lord of the Rings. This is the Elvish symbol for 9. So the meaning is fellowship over evil, right? Friendship over evil.
I'm just giving you a hard time, Serge.
No, but I got it before the movies came out, before it was pop culture, when I was reading the books and that's happening. Now, really, for me, it was really and I've gotten so many comments. And what's surprising is this is a tattoo artist that my ex-wife got recommended, and this tattoo is 23 years old, right? It's older than my son, which for as much color and as much texture as I see in it, was a little different than what I wanted. And he said, look, I want to add some color to it to give it a little depth. And I was like, man, okay. And it turned out so much better than I thought.
And you know what? That's a good point. That brings the next question that I want to ask Hondre is, Hondre, we've seen tattoos evolve over the course of time. I mean, I remember, when my last tattoo that I got, I didn't even know you were tattooing because the machine was so quiet. The blades were so quick. It was less painful. I remember back in, 94 when I got my first tattoo.
Did you do it?
Your
Did you do it
skin
with a,
bouncing and
did you do it with a po' boy?
yeah, no. You know what? That's one of
And
the
a needle?
actually, Serge, we talked about bucket lists. I tell you, the next time I go over to Hawaii, I do actually I want to experience that and get another meaningless tribal tattoo on a white boy. But I digress. But Hondre, explain to us like how the tattooing's evolved over time. And is it getting better? Is it getting easier? Is it quality? Is it lasting longer? Or is the old school, the way to go?
Well, I mean, it all depends on basically like a car, you know what I mean? A lot of it depends on the driver. We've seen things go from like coil machines, what they first started out with. And those are the machines that you guys are talking about that are louder. They hit really hard. And those are great. You know what I mean? They do really good work, but you have to know how to use them as well. I personally, for myself, I use a pen now. I find that it just gives me a wider range of application that it allows me to basically do. And I could do anything from heavy saturation and heavy line work to very light shading and all that stuff. So yeah, there's been a huge evolution throughout this whole like community. It's kind of crazy. And to see the artwork even too, like go from what we were getting in the 90s, you know what I mean? We would walk in and pick something off the wall, or, some guy would draw something for you and tell you, come back in an hour, go get a drink or something. And now, like, you're seeing things like super realistic. You're seeing like color, like portraits and stuff that look like
3D.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
I mean, well, look, with generative AI, our ability to create things graphically is now no longer, it's no longer just you don't have to have an artist. Generative AI can do some amazing, interesting things, exactly what you want. You can choose, you can do renderings of 40 different things before you come up with something you like and then show that to your tattoo artist. I mean, that's what happened with me. And the other thing for me is that so the second tattoo I have, and I'll show you here on the screen, is different, right? And I wanted this tattoo. So this is the hand of the queen from Game of Thrones, right? And to me, that character, right? It's what Danny gives Tyrion, right? Silver, and the king is gold. I want to make sure that I have my nerd bona fides solidified. And so it's the hand of the queen. And
he's
for
also
me,
he's also identifying who he's going to be, what position he's going to be when he goes to jail one day.
Damn right. I'm going to be the hand. I'm going to be the hand of the king or the queen, whichever one it is, because the hand is the one that gets everything done. I always prided myself on being the guy who my friends call when they have a problem. I solve that problem. I do the same thing for my client, right? And so I wanted that tattoo for a very long time, and I would go into artists, and they would be like, "Yeah, sure, I know about Game of Thrones. Bring in the art, like we'll take a look what we can do." Right? So that was, and then I just wouldn't go through with it. And then my son and I were in Hawaii, and we decided to get tattoos because we were with my mom, who is a challenging person at times, and we wanted to get tattoos, which to her is evil, right? My mom cried when she first saw that I had a tattoo, where she grew up in Russia, and in Russia, tattoos means criminals, like it's just terrible,
right?
Yeah, like this cultural stigma. And so we decided to go get tattooed.
What is that? Banditi or something? Is that what they call it?
Yeah.
Banditi? Yeah.
Banditi just means criminal in Russian. Mm-hmm. And so they're very much like the Yakuza, where that tattoos mean something. And so anyway, so I call, it's like 9:00 at night. And so the guy literally, like I said, well, it's the hand of the queen from Game of Thrones. And she goes, let me check with the owner who's still here. And from the phone, I hear him go, "Fuck yeah!" And I showed up and got it done that same night. And he stayed until, I don't know, 1 o'clock in the morning.
Goes back to fuck yeah.
And that's the energy that I want from my tattoo artist.
Exactly. Come on. Like, I don't want anybody doing anything for me that's just going to be fucking half-assed and just lame as shit. What the fuck? I'm going to be giving you
Right.
money, and you're
And
acting
it's
like
not
you
cheap.
want to fucking wipe my ass. Like, come the fuck on. I want people to be excited about stuff, dude. Like, and I'll be the first person to tell you too, as an artist, like, if I think it's something that's lame or whatever, or out of my wheelhouse, I'll be the first person to tell you. You know what I mean? No, I don't think so. I'm not the guy for you. And if you keep
Have you
going,
ever
well,
told
then I'll
that?
just be flat out. What's that?
Did you ever tell anybody, like, when they come in to give you a tattoo
Oh,
idea, you're like, dude,
bro,
this
you
is
don't know
stupid.
Hondre.
Oh, yeah.
Not only did he probably tell him that, but he probably punked him all the way down the street to the next stupid artist that took on the job.
No, you know what? I just a couple of years ago, I had a guy come in and he came in kind of all shady and whatnot. And he's just, oh, hey, he's like, do you do cover ups? And I was like, yeah, I do cover ups. And he's like, well, I kind of want to get this like covered up on my neck. You know what I mean? And I was like, looked at it and I was like, oh, okay. Incriminating, whatever. But I was like, so what would you like to do? And he was just like, well, I mean, I kind of wanted to cover it up, but like I wanted to kind of still look the same. And I'm looking at him like, what are you getting at? And he's like, I just kind of wanted to, like not be noticeable like on camera. Like, oh, so let me guess. You went and did some stupid ass shit and now you want me to fucking help you get away with it. And he kind of like gave me this look like, yeah. And I'm like, nah, buddy, go get caught. I'm like, get
That's
out of here, dude.
hilarious. That's
And it
hilarious. My
showed up.
tattoo is visible.
2 weeks later, I see him in the news and he had gotten caught.
Well, because
So,
we're talking about cover ups and stuff like that. As you're seeing people our age come in for the tattoos, are you seeing a lot of cover ups? Are you doing a lot of work? I know I have two cover ups on my body, and I'll show you. But one of them was a snake that I had, and it has a meaning to it. But I wanted it to be more of a badass snake 10 years later, so there was a cover up on that. And then I had one that was just fading. It just wasn't done well. The artist didn't do good work, and so I had that done, and that's a big lion. But are you seeing guys coming in regretting that tattoo from 20 years ago or just touching it up? Or are you seeing a lot of like brand new blank canvas 50-year-olds or a combination?
a really big combination of everything. Yeah. I'm getting people who are like executives and stuff who were never able to get this type of work before because for fear that, their colleagues or whatever would look at them differently. And now they're coming in and getting full sleeves. You know what I mean? Anything that is basically hidden by their suits. And it's crazy how much more socially acceptable or in the workplace that this has become.
Right.
But it also feels great, right? So that's the thing. One is you have dominion over your body, right? So I think that when guys, and again, this show is primarily geared toward men, but I think the same thing applies to women as well. When you know you have dominion of your body and you stop caring about what other people think of you, and then it happens. It doesn't happen right away, right? When we're younger, we tend to care more about what people think about us. As we get
Exactly.
older and get more self-assured, we stop caring. And then you say, you know what? I have dominion of my body. If I want to get a fucking tattoo that speaks to me, I'm going to get a fucking tattoo. There's going to be a state, right?
Okay.
But I also think personally, I love the fact that I have fans that I identify with, that speak to who I am, right? That unless I show them to you, you have no idea that they're there. I really like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there is that element of the ability to cover. And I'll tell you. So I didn't go full sleeves until I was 36 years old. And reason being is I always thought, look, if I go back into government work, I can't have visible tattoos. Now,
Mhm.
now not only are cops, and tattoos, they got full beards going and everything. So I'm kind of
Yeah,
pissed. I'm
absolute
kind of
beard.
pissed because I
What
would
is
have
up?
liked to do that at 25. I would have liked to sleeve up at 25, and I had to wait to 36. But you know what? Now it all means stuff, and I've got a bunch of stuff that really means something to me. Like I've got the whole state of born and raised in the state of California, in the state, and we'll
Yes,
put a
sir.
picture. I'll take another photo and we'll put it on the screen here.
Is that a California? Isn't that a gang tattoo? Isn't that considered to be gang?
You know
Is
what? It
that
depends on how you do it. If you've got it tied in to there's a difference. Andre, talk about that. So when people come in there, one of the concerns that I've talked to people our age is I don't want to be like, there's one guy that I saw walking down the street and he had this tattoo on the back of his neck. And I'm looking at the guy and I'm like, this doesn't look like a guy that has a 13 on his neck, right? And so I kind of hit him up about it thinking, I mean, I was armed. So in case he came out and started blasting, because I know what that means. But he goes, oh yeah, in college, man, I played baseball. I was number 13. I love it, man. And I go, yeah, well, you're walking around in Chula Vista, California. You can probably get shot for that. I mean, do you have to explain sometimes to people the different meanings of what they're getting done?
Yeah. So where was I? We were in Los Angeles eating one day, and I look down and I see a guy with a CS tattoo on his hand, but he is not Latin at all. And I was just like, I kind of just asked him, I was like, hey, who gave you that? You know what I mean? And I was like, because this tattoo has to be given to you, by somebody, and because it has meaning behind it. You know what I mean? And he was like, oh, I just went and, I had a guy do it for me. And I was like, and the guy just did it for you? You know what I mean? Like, you went to a tattoo shop and he just did this for you? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, did he tell you anything or the story about it, like behind it? He's like, no, dude, I just thought it was cool. And I was like, well, don't go to don't go into like downtown LA. You know what I mean? Don't go into any of the hoods around there, because you may come back with like no car or something. You know what I mean? But you're definitely going to get asked about it. And I mean, I don't know. Some people just get stuff without really thinking about like what could happen.
No, and that's
let me tell you something. When the guys from Western, like, so I'm like, the Queen, right? So yeah, if somebody doesn't like the Lannisters, this is going to be a problem for me. We're going to have to throw down with the one guys who went from Westeros.
Well, I think, and those are important points because seriously, I'm sorry, I'm having an audio delay, and so I'm hearing it.
Oh my God, that's who it is.
Yeah,
I'm going to come down with the Westeronians.
It'll be a
contrast to the Serenios, right? Like it's anyhow. So, but yeah, a lot of Sergio, you're bringing up a lot of mine. A lot of mine are local, and they're based on a geography. But that geography can be taken as either pride in what where you come from or what set you represent. And I have a big SD, but the SD is turned into the Padres SD, that's clearly sports related. Says native of the city. But what I had to do is I had to really ask people locally and say like, hey, do you think this would be taken one way or another? I mean, the one I don't care about is the gang tattoo I do care, or that I do have, is the Chargers. So all the Raider fans can hate on that as much as they want. I claim the Chargers. That's my set. I go to church on Sunday at SoFi Stadium. Deal with it.
We remember when we were cops, I'd see guys with certain tattoos, and I'd stop and talk to them about it, right? Because a lot of gang members would get tattoos, and that was a real pride. And sometimes you see, like, and I will say, like, there's tattoos and there's tattoos. I wouldn't never encourage anybody to get a face tattoo or a neck tattoo, but I will say, right? And I used to be like, that's just the dumbest thing in the world. Like, I'm a professional, right? And so I have my hand of the Queen is exactly where it should go, on my chest. And so when I first got it, I was really excited about it. So after like the time you're not supposed to be in the sun and all that stuff, like I would go to all these pool parties. And I was
you're supposed to be in the sun, period, guy.
And I would go to these pool parties and I'd be like, man, like I'm really like I would show. And then if the topic of tattoos comes up, I am always taking my shirt off to show my tattoo. And so the other day I was talking to my kid. I was like, I think I understand why people get tattoos on their face or on their neck, right? Because they want people to see it.
Yeah. It doesn't surprise me that the guy with the Queen of the Hand tattoo doesn't like a facial or neck tattoo. I get that. Okay. So, hey, Hondre, going back to you, what we want to do is obviously we're running out of time. We have about 5 minutes left here. So wrapping up though, number one, I want to recognize you and give you credit. So if you can tell us, where your shop is, what your IG handle is, and how people can get in touch with you. And then I have a follow-up question after that.
Sure. Let's see. I work over at Wanderlust Inc. over in Roseville, California, up here in Northern California. It's like the Sacramento area. My Instagram is Hondo, at Hondo Tattooers.
So travel down to the San Diego area and you're mobile once in a while.
Yes, I do try to travel as long as, we're out of fire season up here and, our current season, because normally we get like trees that fall down and stuff around here. So trying to be around for that kind of stuff to make sure I can have my chainsaw ready.
Right. Wow. That's scary stuff, man. Thinking about you guys every time those fires pop up, because I know it's rough up there. So let me ask you, here's my follow-up question. So obviously, I've seen you doing work. You're working on a tattoo piece on my lady right now. But for those of you that don't come to you, what type of advice can you give to somebody who's seeking out? Because the artist, I think, is a very important thing. Like, my 7-year-old can't do Picasso.
How do you choose? Yeah, great question. How do you choose the right artist?
So what tips would you give to people when they're looking for an artist?
Well, if you're going to be looking for an artist, meet with them in person. You know what I mean? Like you can talk to somebody over text and through email and whatnot, and they sound and look great on paper. But sometimes when you're getting into the chair and you don't have anything in common with this person, or this person is just a dick, or just a fucking doesn't talk to you at all and treats you like a fucking piece of paper, I mean, you're paying this dude money, you know what I mean? And even if his work is good, dude, you guys have to have some sort of a relationship. I mean, you guys are going to be sharing space with each other for hours at a time. You know what I mean? And if you can't joke around or even just have stuff in common to really talk about, that's going to make for some awkward moments. You know what I mean? Like of just sitting there kind of well, I don't know what to fucking say now. Like, why would you want to be like that? I mean, you're already in pain. You might as well have a little bit of fun.
Right. So what about the person who comes in? You look at an Instagram, like a lot of tattoo artists will send you their Instagram profile, but it's a lot like dating. Okay. That Malibu model sometimes is an El Cajon hooker with a really good filter on there. So
that's what I feel
you get the bait and switch. Right? Am I wrong?
I love it. Malibu Barbie to El Cajon hooker. I love that. We're going to put some visuals to give an example of what Moose Man is talking about.
When I get back, next time I visit to California, I'll drive down Van Houten or Lexington or something. I'll take a couple pictures for you.
Now, I'm putting that into generative AI. I've been experimenting with it. I'm putting that into generative AI. It's going to be, I'm going to have a photo. This is going to be a tattoo plus, we're going to run a contest. We're going to put up 3 photos, and then one of our guests,
there you go,
who wants to have that tattooed on their body, will pay for it.
Excellent. Hey, well, one last question, Hondre, we got to wrap here, but the question that I've got is the guys that are coming in our age, are you noticing that as we get older, the pain tolerance get easier or worse with the older guys that come in? And when you're evaluating them, will you turn away a client because they can't sit?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I do notice that the older that some people get, granted that there's still some dudes that can sit like champs, but for majority of people, as they do get older, their pain tolerance goes down. I don't know if it's, chalk it up to teenage angst or something like that, to where you could just sit through something. But yeah, I am definitely seeing a decline in people being able to sit for longer periods of time. So, and with some dudes, I've had to turn away a couple of people because, I mean, you get about 30 minutes in and they want to already tap out and you're scheduled for 4 hours.
I mean, I think 4 hours is a long time to sit.
You would.
I get bored, right? So I have a short attention span. So now, that being said, is if it's like when I was getting my tattoo on my chest, my kid was with me, so we were talking and joking and laughing, and then he stayed open. I think he stayed till 1 o'clock in the morning to get it done.
Wow.
Because he really liked the tattoo. And so I wouldn't go, like, if I went by myself with no phone or anything else to sit there for 4 hours, I'd start climbing the wall. But you put a phone,
and that's why your arms are blank, my man. That is why if you can't sit in a 4 hours, are you kidding me? Like, I just got on a flight that was 4.5 hours. Like,
I know, but did you get, did you do, what, that's a new trend now. Did you white knuckle the flight? Where you had no phone, there's a new trend now. I don't know what they call it. Maybe some of our listeners will tell us. But where you do the entire flight with no external stimulation. So no television, no music, no nothing. You literally just
stupid.
It's stupid, right?
That's like I'm gonna have a baby without an epidural or whatever. Like I want to. Hey, technology's there. There's something else.
You have a lot of babies at house?
I guess. No. I made sure that's not happening again. But no. So now I'm going to
Moose is gonna have a baby. If men have to have a baby, I'll go on the record. If men have to have babies, the human race will come to that.
Do you imagine hearing that?
Work?
You ruined my body from a guy.
Hey, Andre, do the sprays work? The topical creams. There's a lot of these. A lot of people say they're scams. Amazon's got a shit ton of them.
There's a percentage. Majority of it is if it works on the individual. Some people have like allergic reactions to this stuff, and that will affect their healing and whatnot. And sometimes it'll almost kind of cloud over some of the tattoo work. You know what I mean? So if somebody is gonna, opt to use it, I do let them know that there's a possibility that some of these things can happen. I just leave it up to them and whether or not they want to continue.
So your recommendation is man up.
Yeah, what about so I personally, when I got my tattoos, that's the thing. When I got my tattoos, I didn't drink, I didn't take any pain meds, I didn't take an edible, like nothing. Like I felt like doing it.
Serge, that's because you said you only sit for half an hour. If you had to take an edible to sit for half an hour on a tattoo, you're just a bitch.
Well, but here's the thing. I mean, I'm telling you, I will tell you that this tattoo, the back end of it, did not feel good.
You feel where your thumb is at? That part hurts. That part hurts right there, yeah.
And then with this tattoo, I literally could not feel. I couldn't feel him doing it. And I had to ask him a couple of times, like, did we get started? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, I can't feel anything until he hit some nerve right on my collarbone. And after that, I still feel it. And it's been now 3 years.
Minutes, so, hey, Andre, any other tips for the guys out there as we wrap up?
If you're gonna get a tattoo, sit still, goddammit. You know what I mean? If you want to laugh, just wait till I go to fucking dip into some ink or something like that.
Yeah, my tattoo, I think it's gonna be the tree of Gondo. I think I'm gonna pull on my shoulder.
Oh my gosh, okay.
Cool.
Well, we'll pick a tattoo. You know what? We should do a show where we see how long PowerSerg can sit for I don't know.
That'd be a competition.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
We'll have to pick the next movie that's coming out.
Moose, take us out.
Right on. Well, Andre, appreciate you coming to the program. Really taking the time out and talking to men about this. It's obviously not only a growing trend, but it is like the most important thing that you can do to something that you're going to remember for the rest of your life. So remember that. And in this age, dare to live. As we move closer to 50, as we get into the second part of our life, continue to dare to live. If this has been a bucket list to get a tattoo, go get the damn tattoo. But make it some. Don't get the tribal white boy big piece to embarrass. And I still think it's amazing how many like white guys like me have these big tribal sleeved arms. I think it's silly personally, but I can't really talk because I have one. So we are going to go live the best day of our life. You go live yours. Have a great day.
The show doesn't stop there. Join the movement on IG 50 Shades of _great, or go to our website 50shadesofgreat.com.